The stock market is down hard. The housing bubble is popping. Meta just announced they are laying off over 11,000 employees. And the Fed keeps raising interest rates like they're trying to break America. But in spite of all the financial turmoil, there is one account that is seeing a massive increase in returns on investment, and we're going to talk about that today. Hi, I'm Jacob Wade from Roadmap Money, and I scoured the entire internet to find the top 7 high-yield savings accounts that are paying at least 3% APY or more. These are all solid banks with FDIC insurance and no fees attached to your account. Now, they're all slightly different, and there's pros and cons of each. We'll cover that. And I'm going to go through starting at 3% interest all the way up to the highest interest rate. So stay to the end of the video to find out which account pays the most. All right, you ready to start putting your cash to work? Let's get started. And for all of these accounts, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can directly access them and check them out yourself. All right, first up on the list is the Capital One 360 Performance Savings Account. Now, this is one of my favorites. I've actually been with Capital One since before they were called Capital One. It was ING Direct. If you old school people remember that. And they are now paying 3% interest on their savings accounts. So a couple things I like about them. One is there's no fees, there's no minimums. You could just open it and get started. Two, you can open multiple savings accounts and name them. I actually have a savings account for like car maintenance and birthdays and Christmas. And I can set up recurring transfers to deposit small amounts into each of those accounts. I call them savings buckets. And so we save for those larger expenses in small increments. And Capital One has just always had great customer service. You can get on the phone and give them a call and get your questions answered fairly quickly. And their mobile app is just really, really easy to use. You can see all of your stuff in one place. I also have a couple of Capital One credit cards, so it makes it really, really easy. So a couple of things I don't like about Capital One is one, they have very few physical locations. So unless you're near one of their Capital One cafes or one of their branches, you're not going to be able to access a physical location. And you can't use ATMs with their savings account, which is typical of most savings accounts, but you would just need to transfer it to some type of checking account where you can use a debit card. So number 2 on the list is the SoFi checking and savings account. It's paying 3% APY. There's no fees, no minimums, but it's also kind of a checking and savings account combined where you get a rewards debit card that you can earn cashback rewards on. You get access to up to 55,000 ATMs through the Allpoint network. And SoFi is now offering a $50 sign-up bonus if you open an account and deposit funds. And if you set up direct deposit with them and that direct deposit is over $5,000, they will give you a $250 bonus on top of that. So you can earn up to $300 with the SoFi checking and savings account. There's really not a lot of downside to SoFi. They have fantastic customer service. They have a lot of really cool user benefits. And it's honestly one of my favorite new fintech companies to come out. Again, they are FDIC insured and there's no extra fees or anything like that. So SoFi, check them out if you're looking for a solid checking and savings account. All right, number 3 on the list is Marcus by Goldman Sachs. Marcus is a high-yield savings account that is currently paying 3% APY, and it has no fees and no minimums, just like the other accounts. Now, one cool feature about them is they allow $100,000 same-day transfers. So you could transfer funds to and from an external bank and have it same day. The other feature they have that I like is 24/7 customer service. So you can hop on the phone at any time of day or night and get a hold of a representative from Marcus, and they can help you with your account. So a couple things I don't like about Marcus is they don't have any physical locations, and you can't do mobile check deposits. You can't deposit checks directly into the savings account. You'll have to directly deposit into a checking account and then transfer those funds over. And then there's no ATM access. So you're not going to be able to access your funds via ATM. It's online transfers only, again, to either a checking account or another account that has ATM access. So again, not a lot of bells and whistles, but a very simple, solid, high-paying, high-yield savings account. All right, number 4 on the list is the Barclays online savings account. This is another account that's paying 3% interest with no fees and no minimums. Super simple to get set up. One thing I do like about this account is they have this thing called the Savings Assistant built in, and you can go in there and input your goals, and it helps you kind of stay on track toward your goals. So say you want to buy a boat and you've got $1,000 put away, but it's a $10,000 boat. So you put that information in there and it says, okay, it's going to take you, depending on how much you can save per month, say you can save like $500 a month, it'll take you a year and a half to save up for that boat. So it's kind of cool that the tool is built in and you can kind of track your savings along the way. The other thing I like is when you open the account, you can open up to 5 savings accounts at a time. Again, you can name them and create your savings buckets within the Barclays online savings account. A couple things I don't like is, again, no mobile check deposit, kind of like the Marcus savings account. You can't take a picture of your check and deposit it in there. You need to have an attached checking account. And there's no ATM access, so you'll have to transfer funds to some other account that has a debit card with ATM access. But again, if you're an online only person like me, most of your money is just transferred around online. So that is not quite as big a deal. So that's the Barclay online savings account. All right, now we're getting to accounts that'll pay more than 3% interest. Number 5 on the list is CIT Bank. I'm a fan of CIT Bank. I've been with them for a couple of years, and they continually try to push the envelope and pay a little bit more than what other people are paying. Their current interest rate is 3.25%, and there's no fees on that account. Another thing I like is you can open multiple of these savings accounts, and you can rename them. Again, create those savings buckets and set up recurring transfers into each of those to sort of automate your savings strategy. They also have a really super simple to use mobile app. Again, not a lot of bells and whistles. It just does what it does, pays a high interest rate. A couple of downsides: they don't have any physical locations like many of these online savings accounts, and they have a $100 minimum to open the Savings Connect account. But if you're going to be transferring a larger amount over, that's not really a big deal. So that's the CIT Bank Savings Connect account. All right, number 6 on our list is Wealthfront, and they're not a traditional savings account. They're really a online investment advisor. They are a robo-advisory service where they automate your investments for a low fee, and I really like their investment product, but their cash account is now paying an eye-watering 3.3% interest. And there's no fees and only $1 minimum to open the account. The other cool thing about Wealthfront is if you are a wealthy individual and you want to deposit more than $250,000, they actually will insure your money up to $2 million. Most savings accounts that I've already mentioned only have $250,000 of FDIC insurance. Wealthfront will do $2 million. So if you're a baller and you want to ball out and earn that 3.3% interest on your $2 million, you can do that and rest easy at night. The other cool thing is within the app, they'll allow you to link your Wealthfront investment account and set up these like automations. So you can set up an automation that says, once my savings account reaches $5,000, any extra funds go invest here. So it's kind of this cool like automatic money thing, which I am all about. So the major con is there's just no physical locations. It's just an online bank, and it's really going to be more tied to their investment account. So you'll probably see that within their app. They're going to want you to use their services. But other than that, you can earn a solid 3.3% interest rate with Wealthfront. All right, drum roll for the highest APY high yield savings accounts, and it's Personal Capital Cash. Now, you might have heard of Personal Capital before. They are a free investment app where you can track your investments and link your accounts and track your net worth. And I use it to keep an eye on my investments. It's actually the app that I personally use. But they also have the Personal Capital Cash account, which is kind of like a combination checking savings account. And they're paying 3.35% APY. And if you're one of their Personal Capital Advisory clients, they're paying 3.45% APY. Now, a couple cool things about this account: there are no fees, there are no minimum requirements, and they are FDIC insured up to $1.5 million. And as part of the service, they'll allow you to wire transfer up to $1 million, baller, for no fees. They'll cover those wire transfer fees for you. So the downsides are it advertises itself as a checking account, but you can't use a debit card. There's no debit card attached to it. So really it's kind of just an online only checking account. And if you want to get that high 3.45% APY, you need to be a Personal Capital Advisory client, which requires $100,000 invested with them, hiring their financial advisory service. But for a 0.1% difference, and you're still getting a higher rate than anybody else, I think Personal Capital Cash is a great place to park your savings and earn high interest. All right, so those are the top high yield savings accounts that are paying at least 3% interest. But you might be asking, is 3% actually going to make a difference? Well, let me pull up my handy dandy compound interest calculator here. You might have seen this one in my investment calculator video. And let's just say you have an emergency fund of the recommended 3 to 6 months saved away. So if your monthly bills are about $5,000 a month, let's say you have $15,000 in cash that you can put in one of these high yield savings accounts. Normal savings accounts are paying like 0.21% or something like that right now. So let's see if 3% will make a difference. So if we go down here and let's just say over the next 5 years, you park that money, no emergencies, awesome. And your estimated interest rate is, let's just call it the 3%. And we hit calculate. You can see your $15,000 just turned into $17,389. So the cool thing is you just made over $2,000 just parking your money in one of these accounts. And if we go back up and look at the 0.21%, which is the national average right now, so instead of $17,389, you're only going to end up with $15,158. So you're going to have about $2,000 less just between those savings accounts. And again, the number goes up if you have even more put away. So all that to say, yes, the difference between 0.2% and 3% over time can be pretty massive, thousands of dollars. So it's worth it if you have an emergency fund or a larger savings chunk to put it in one of these higher yield savings accounts and let that money compound over time. All right, so those are the top 7 savings accounts. I hope this video was of value to you, and maybe I helped you save a couple extra $1,000 by moving your money to one of these high yield savings accounts. If you like this video, hit the like button, and if you hit subscribe, you'll be notified of when I post new videos. I'm going to be doing more and more of these. And if you want to learn about earning even more money with your investments, check out my favorite investment account, the Roth IRA, and I detail how to open one and deposit your money in this video right here. Yeah, you can just click that right there.